Welcome back. We're still focusing on security, and Chigozie Ubani is still here with us. You know, some of the questions that pop up when you sit back and look at our approach to solving these challenges. We've spent billions of dollars now
Yes.
in our security, I beg your pardon, installing the satellites, big communication satellites or which the other one. Remember, there was the first one that was there, it didn't work, we put up another one. And then when the flooding happened, we did ask questions. What's going on with those communication satellites? I mean, is it just for communication purposes? What about the other satellite that we have? Can they use some of those equipments to track the movement, point it to Maiduguri or Borno, as it were, with a view to solving or looking through what's going on? Where is that convoy coming through from? Where do they exit from? And are those questions so very difficult for us to even approach in that manner?
Yeah, that's a very serious one, in the sense that when some of these contracts are being awarded, we award them, yes, probably for the sake of awarding contracts, and nobody's checking to see what results we get. And even when you try to investigate such and raise issues, you find out that as monies are collected, some are donated to the ruling party, not just PDP now, it's all over, you know, because there has to be a government, and every government is rooted in a political party. So from states to federal government, get the contract, donate some of them to the party, and then do what you can. Beyond the satellites, I am sure you are aware that a massive project on intelligence security, CCTV, which is our bit, has been awarded in different states. If you go around and check, some of those things are not working. Some contracts are awarded, installations are made, but by the time you want to link them up, you find out that your frequency has been sold.
Sold.
Frequency sold to somebody else or to for some other purposes.
So they're doing.
So you just see cameras mounted and they are not working. It's a big challenge for us, and unfortunately, those who are supposed to look into those matters, correct them, reprimand those who should be and are not willing to do so. So we find ourselves in this roulette, you know, moving back and forth, up and down.
So people are profiting from all of these things.
Of course. When you say billions of dollars have been spent, if a forensic audit is conducted on that, you will see that a lot of them have gone into private pockets.
And then we'll talk about the police. Do we have a standard forensic lab? In how many places?
Before we even get to that, the police you just mentioned should have, during the colonial police, or when the colonial police were living, there was what was called information money. Information money was a budget for the police to gather information. I would want you to bring our brother and friend Frank Mba to tell us about information money.
If they still have it.
If that budget is still there, and if it is, how effective it has been. This money, for instance, I am not saying it's being budgeted and someone in police have taken it, but I am saying, do they still retain that structure? If they do, how effective has it been? Because when you see idle youths roaming about, they are there to be recruited by anybody, including the Holy Spirit. So, who comes first and what you offer go a long way in determining where this mind or this energy is being directed
But
to.
there's some basic things. For instance, now, the CCTV you talked about.
Yes.
Why is it that the one in Lagos is working and the one in Abuja is not? And in other states, not even existent?
There are challenges with security. Each time you meet a security personnel, especially on the government side, there is this saying that for the sake of security, certain information cannot be divulged. And that should be true if if things were working right.
Wait, are you saying
But
that
at this
they
point,
say it's wrong to tell us if CCTV is working
you
or
see,
not?
if you go into some of these details, you'll be given a manuscript. You'll be given a design for the criminal to work with. But frankly, because Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians, are now on the receiving side of this, then we should come out from that cocoon.
No, but the
and
one
begin
in
to
Lagos,
inform people.
the one in
And
Lagos,
also begin to call people to order, especially those who have had those jobs to do,
if
to
I remember,
come out and say what their challenges are.
if I remember properly, the one in Lagos, because
Yes.
we understand that it's the state that is funding, powering it, for instance,
Okay.
because there was no provision for that from the center. And so Lagos, I think they spent, is it a little over $1 billion or so to maintain it in terms of powering it alone for it to work.
Good.
So maybe that's a challenge some other states are facing, and that we don't get to hear anything or why it's not working.
What I ask, you see, when we say challenge of powering, I ask, the government houses are part.
Yeah, because when
The
they
private
budgeted
homes,
for that,
their private homes
did they
are
factor
part.
in that particular aspect, and if not, why? And if they did, where is the money going?
That's what I am saying here. If you can power the government houses, strategic government facilities, power private homes of senior government functionaries, then why are we not powering intelligence security? That is all I can ask here, and in answer to your question. Because when budgets are drawn, of course, we know that those things are in the budget. But at the same time, they are not functioning effectively. Well, now, when you talk about the Lagos project is not just one. There is the project by the Lagos state government, and there is another by the federal government. Look in to know which are working and why they are not.
And we'll also get to the House of Representatives. They've got this oversight function. We need to ask questions concerning, first of all, the budget for security. How much is it? Do they get that money? How much is released? And what was done? And why is one that's not released being held back? So it's not enough for us to talk about our security agencies doing what they have to do, but what about funding? Do they get those funds as and when due?
Beautiful. Beyond that, we also look at what design do we have for security? What do we want to achieve between 2014 and 2015?
Should they be telling us so among themselves?
Of course they should. What do we want to achieve between 2016 and 2020 regarding security? We have Vision 20 everything, 2020 in economy. Of course, we have done well to have surpassed South Africa, as a bigger economy. We agree on that. But look at these other little things as they harass us to the marrow. Now, when you talk about the budget, yes, the House of Assembly is there with their oversight functions. But when these monies are released, do they follow up to see where they have been spent and where needs to be improved upon? So that by the time we come back to the next year's budget, when we say we have recorded this mileage and these are the areas that need to be worked upon. Yes, so that when the federal government is marshalling out its security forces, we do not have to depend again on what the governor will do.
To augment.
You heard the young man there, the man there saying that they have spent so much amount of money in trying to assist the federal government. Very good. I like that. But these are the same states that cannot run their own security apparatus. And that's a challenge. So all we do is take money from the state, augment the efforts of the federal government. And the states themselves cannot raise their own security systems, except those who are controlling traffic. So there is a big contradiction or a confusing relationship between the federal and the state government on how we have been managing our security. Budget is one. Two, drawing out a bold architecture that can convince everybody that going by the way we are in this technology age, that these and these can be taken care of. Somebody has to sit down and think for the criminal. on the side of the government.
Yeah.
If this is what we have now, what do we expect to have in the next 20 to 30 years? And we begin now to work on those things.
You know, just quickly, we're already being wound up. When I asked you earlier about the ideology wasn't on the part of Boko Haram, but on the part of how politicians perceive the efforts of the federal government. You know, someone saying that we cannot, or that they perceive this as an attempt not to let them participate in democracy, you know, because of the 2015 elections. How do we begin to, you know, douse some of these doubts and suspicions?
Well, you see, I have said over and over again that of all the ministries and parastatals in the federal and state structure, that the most important to me is the Ministry of Information and that of orientation and reorientation. Some of the biggest challenges we have is poor information at our disposal. Even to the grassroots, we don't educate people, not just classroom certificates here, which to me does not mean anything. What we need to do is pass information. Now, those people who feel that this is a ploy to stop them from participating in future elections, are they saying that the federal government went to Al-Shabaab, went to the Maghreb, and hired these people to come and destabilize Nigeria? No. What has happened here is this. When you have crises like this, people join the fray from different angles. A man who has a case to settle with somebody joins it from that point of view. So in the course of this crisis, this is an opportunity to get back at this. Burn down this installation, burn down this house. This is an opportunity to attack those people who do not want me to betroth a 13-year-old. This is an opportunity to attack those interests that have been, you know, massively developing our area with Western education. This is an opportunity to burn down that church that delivered my that, who was. So people come in from all angles and create their own confusion. That is why it's becoming a lot more difficult for federal government or the government to contain, because there are diverse interests in this challenge. No one thing can be the problem, and that is why it is difficult to even get a central leader for it. The man whom we look at, yes, is the central person coordinating, but what other interests are being injected into this, he may not even know all.
We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed. Chigozie Ubani, a security consultant, speaking to us about the security matter today on Sunrise Daily. Well, that's it today. We thank you all for watching. Okay, well, we'll take a break, actually. We'll be back after this break.